14, 15, 16 years old and you think, I'm one person out of millions and millions of people and I can't make a difference. Nothing I do counts. I can't even vote. You know, I can't do anything for myself, for my community, for my country. I just feel like I'm not really included in anything, and I can't make a difference. And I think it's that attitude of sort of, I can't do something, so I'm not going to do something, and sort of general apathy that's associated with that.
It was important to change the attitudes toward the engagement and to show that not only the global or the nationwide things are important, but you can start from your community and from a small problem.
We had just published something called the Pennsylvania Civic Health Index, and it was doing, exactly what the title says, measuring our civic health. So how often are Pennsylvanians volunteering? How often are they donating to charity? They're voting, they're volunteering to be block captains, and the numbers were not good.
On average, Pennsylvanians eat dinner with their family every night, more often than other states. And research shows that the more often that you eat dinner with your family, the more often you are to be civically engaged.
There is just something powerful about sitting around a table with people and having a conversation. And really, it's something we know, it's something that's common sense, but to have that documentation, to have something that really legitimized that for us was really important, and we didn't want to overlook it. We didn't want to just focus on the negative. We're not voting enough, we're not volunteering enough. It's always bad news, bad news, bad news. And so we had this little ray of light in this otherwise sort of bleak outlook of our civic health, and we wanted to shine a light on that, and we wanted to really celebrate that and to prove that it's true, it does work. Sitting around a table was important.
Table was an effort to try to get students from America, in both America and Latvia, to look more into their city and their community and be civically engaged.
We wanted to find a certain kind of demeanor or person that we knew that could relate to students of different backgrounds and that would want to and that would really get something out of it. So that was really what was important to us.
This project is about history, about different persons, about changes in their lives, about lifestyle, about being a part of society, about how your life could change if you do something or if you don't do that.
In Latvia, the part of our work was Third Awakening, or the people who help and bring something new for the Latvian future.
In the 1990s, there was this, what they call Third Awakening, this huge revolution, which was completely done by citizens and sort of average people fighting for their own independence.
The reason why we chose to focus on this historical period to see our civic engagement experiences was that this was a period in the history of Latvia, in recent history of Latvia, when whole nation, whole people tried to do something in the different organizations or in the other ways to help Latvia get its independence, and actually it was a great role of people during this whole process. The people around us are the sources of history, actually, and we just have to hear them. We have to record their thoughts. We have to preserve their thoughts in the different ways of media we can use nowadays.
This is information what we can't find in books and in the internet or in mass media, in the news. It's just information from people.
My mom, she's a school teacher, but also she plays roller derby. And I did one of my videos on how she manages both.
Mine involved the arts. My Aunt Helen, who's very involved in the arts community in Philadelphia. And then the third one was on yarn bombing. So very artsy, which I'm into. My family's all artists.
I interviewed a man who first raised the Latvian flag in the Soviet times at the beginning of the Third Awakening.
The first documentary I did was kind of hard because I didn't really do a documentary before. But once I got the hang of that, it became easier.
My second video was with my father, who is the owner of the salt company, the largest salt company in Europe. And he told about how he started this business and how he could help Latvia with this business in future.
When I interviewed our village doctor, I was really surprised about that because I see in her eyes tears, I see in her face pain. In that moment I think, how this all is changed our country, how all things are changed.
I would like to show not only for United States but also for Latvia that you can do everything nowadays and get example from the awakening time, so you can make your life live better.
Every time I have to do a video about an issue or a good thing that happened in society, and that is related to civic engagement. And I've realized that even though there are problems, there are people that work in order to resolve those problems.
You learn so much from watching a student's perspective on their own community, especially when you're not within that community. But even when you are, it sometimes says like, oh yeah, that is a problem, or oh yeah, people really do that. And you kind of learn more about yourself by watching this, or you learn more about someone else by watching it, and I think that's kind of cool.
Suppers was the most interesting part of our project because we showed there our videos and what we gained from this project.
Even people who is my neighbor, he knows much more about Latvia's history as me.
It was really interesting when people with history, with their history, meet and just tell to each other what was, and it was really curious to find out that they have something equal to each other. The stories is amazing for youngsters.
So we invited people that were active in those communities who we thought would have things to say. We did research and we sent out emails and made phone calls, and we conducted these suppers to try to have solutions for issues that's going on in those communities and just learning about those communities more.
It's nice when other people are concerned about something that you are, and it's a really good feeling.
I think my most vivid experience at the table was actually having our Sunday suppers. Where I live, I've never been to West Philly, only I've been to the zoo. I've never really been to South Philly. I've never even been to Mount Airy, and just by going to these different neighborhoods and listening to what the people from those neighborhoods have to say, I really can see myself actually now going out and going to these different neighborhoods which I've never been to.
Outside of the Sunday suppers and the documentary films, there's also a fun travel portion. So we in Philadelphia went to Riga, and the Latvians came to Philadelphia.
I knew nothing about Latvia. I didn't even know it existed.
When we went to Latvia, I thought it was like a different world, but learning how they are is actually almost the same as the USA.
I've only been in America my whole life, so I wasn't used to being around other people in other cities and other countries. And when you go to places like that, you experience their characteristics and they live a different way.
It's exciting to learn new things about USA, to learn new things about Latvia, what I didn't know.
We thought more about the differences between our countries. We saw all these differences, but at the same time, the values or the I don't know, music what we hear, or the ways how we spend our free time, they are quite similar in both countries also in many ways. And probably these differences are actually not so big as we thought before we went to the US.
One of the best things in this project is this possibility to meet people from America. Such a big culture, such a big country, and they're totally different from us, but then at some point they're really similar to us.
I discovered that the thing that really made me happy, that I enjoyed the most, were the friendship I made while being in Latvia and while the Latvian student came here. I know that if I go to Latvia more, I will have some place to live.
They were the complete opposite of what I expected. Like I could speak to them the same way I talk to my friends. They my homies, you could say, because they were just really cool and down to earth people.
It was a week, and a week I could spend how the Americans do that. I could walk in the center of Philly and everywhere, and it kind of made me to be like American.
When American students came to Latvia, I was thinking they would be an elfish, a bit elfish, you know, looking at these monuments and all these castles, and I thought so they would like to do oh, a castle, so what, you know. But they were like, oh my God, a castle! And you say there's no castles older than 200 years. that's and then to hear so many good compliments about Latvia, how is there, and that warms my heart, you know, to hear things about my motherland.
Tried to encourage students to choose very different service projects.
In Latvia, for example, we made the birds' houses, and it was a great chance to communicate with our American friends, and we made it together, and it was nice.
And at first I thought it was kind of odd to build birdhouses, because if I want a birdhouse, I could just go to Walmart and buy a birdhouse. I don't see the need to make one. But then, once we got there, I saw how everything was. Everything is really clean, and it seems like they like to preserve the environment and stuff. So it made sense to build birdhouses to help the birds.
Our service project were in a house for children with the special needs.
These walls were very dark, and it were not so good, and we decided to paint some pictures from the Winnie Pooh cartoon. My part of this work was to paint butterflies and some characters from Tom and Jerry.
We are doing our service project by making signs with descriptions of historical places in Lizums. People in Lizums don't usually know what these buildings were earlier, so I think that it's a great way to show them that Lizums is a historical place.
Similar to the At the Table project, restaurateur and chef Mark Vetri had started this thing called Eat a Kit.
Usually in a Philadelphia school, they'll give you a tray of food which isn't really that good in quality. It might even be disgusting at times, just like my school. You just sit around, they serve you, eat, and you go to class. In this school, you eat family style, so they home cook their meals. Everything is fresh, everything is nutritious, and they serve themselves at the table like a family. They help each other clean up.
all those possibilities of having communications with little kids, with serving them some food, with helping them, with explaining them what do we eat in Latvia, what do we talk about at the table, what are we like. It's great.
For me, at the table has really been about being present, about being in the moment and really learning from and hearing the people who are in front of you and not sort of having your eye on the person who's not in the room.
I've realized how important it is to be connected with not only with your city, which we did, but other countries and other people.
To meet these guys from this school in USA and from our school, and also from the school of Lisms nearby our school, I think it is more about that. It's an easier way to communicate with the people and to get known with them.
The final dinner here at the Latvian Society, it was really, that was the best part. Even though it was the saddest, it was the best part of the party because you really saw that we cared about each other.
When you see a group of high school kids who are sort of famous for not caring, hugging each other and crying, and you see emotion there, I just thought, they care. And we did it. They care. And that made all of the hard work and the late nights, and, you know, maybe they may not go and start a neighborhood association, and they may not, you know, clean up Philadelphia's sidewalks, but they care about something. And the fact that that's other people, and it's people that they didn't know, you know, a year ago, I mean, it doesn't get much better than that.